Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a very open space there.
Cambridge City Council will now be in session. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Evancho.
Here.
Hill.
Here.
Loffman.
Here.
Leonard. McMillan.
Here.
Wolverton.
Here.
Zaleski.
Mr. Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we excuse Councilman Zelensky.
Mr. Wolverton,
I'll second that motion.
all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Reading of the minutes. Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we dispense of reading of minutes and place on file.
Mr. Loffman,
I'll second the motion.
all in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion is granted. Mayor's report.
Good evening, council. Take a good look out over your shoulder. We got about 5 more days of that, and it's going to start sliding on us a little bit. Temperature climbing. So anyhow, I got a few things in front here and a whole list of little things. But number one on your list, request from police department to transfer $13,782 from equipment to travel and training. Number two, request from utilities director to enter into a 2-year contract with Microcom. 3, request from the engineer, A, go into executive session to discuss contract, and B, discuss hiring a construction inspector. 4, request from the fire department to accept and appropriate the grant received in the amount of $34,427.99 to be placed in equipment.
Okay, all those requests will be referred to the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Council President. Just a couple things. Most of you know this, and I think one of you is in that ward's kind of sentimental, but the Frisbee, as we speak, is falling. For years and years and years, people talked about how it was an eyesore. Well, now it's going to be leaving. But there's an emotional attachment that goes with that, too. But we do appreciate trying to clean that up, so it moves forward, and hopefully better days ahead. Over the weekend, I was invited. I just want to say thank you. Inform you, down on Wall Avenue by Arts Alley there, Randolph's Church has a new pastor. Her name is Tamika Boyd. Me and my wife attended there that Sunday, and actually, I admit, I actually went to my church and sat down there for about 15 minutes and realized I might want to get up and go again. So anyhow, welcome to being the mayor sometimes. But got that done. It was a nice day and very nice people. Fall cleanup came and went. Don't have the numbers yet. It was low-key compared to the spring cleanup, but it was a rainy day and people bouncing around, but it still had its effect, and we were glad to have it. Thanks for those that used it. This weekend, if you didn't know it already, they're going to roll the Dickens out, and it just kind of catches you off when we haven't even had trick-or-treat yet. And I will tell a little storyline. We had to get the lights up when we do and replace a lot of the ballast in the poles. And for some reason, I did irritate a lot of people. We had some people roll down the window and give our guys the business over taking down banners and I don't know what all. But Veterans Day hadn't come up yet. And so we got a little bit of everything going on. But we're getting there. Paving the cemetery's wrapping up and on the edge, but that's impressive at best. If you haven't been out in there, lines, and then on some of the paving in our city itself, the lines are not all the way done yet. Some of them are done. We've had a couple check in on that. It's a little late at night, and some of our seniors can't, tell where the road went. I might be one of them, so.
I was going to say, that's us, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah. We're right there. So
Hello.
I get it, believe me. Fiber optic crews, of which I couldn't tell you their names, but they're running all over the place. You might see a couple, cones up, and all of a sudden it gets this big wheel, and they're down in the drain. There's a little bit of everything going on there. I saw them down on Steubenville today. We had a couple budget roundtables and more forthcoming. And Tim, I want to thank you on that, being able to attend that, and Sharon and stuff like that. The park, in case you haven't caught it, they're putting the skating rink in as we speak. And that's something different we haven't seen before. I wish them luck. Marty's kind of got all the ends on the gables, on the pavilions out through the park. If you haven't been out through there, those were pretty beat up over the years, and it's impressive to see that being nice and clean up. And truthfully, he single-handedly did most of that. That's nice to have. That's pretty much a rundown. Probably a couple more out there, but I guess I was a little curious. On the fifth Monday, that following Tuesday's trick or treat, are we going to do committee that night?
No, those are fifth Monday.
Fifth, so we're out that time. Okay, that's what I thought.
Any questions of the mayor this evening?
I don't have a question, Mayor, but maybe you just want to touch a base because I have received 2 comments on the work that's continuing on Clark Street. I've tried to explain the best of my knowledge that it's fixing what they didn't do right. I don't know if you want to add anything to that or not, but
I'm glad you brought it up. It's ongoing. You see them out there. They reported in and investigated where these, a checklist that we have already in hand of where they're going. It's going well as far as I know. I had a couple calls where people wanted to make sure certain things were on the list, and that's forthcoming and ongoing. I guess I'm somewhat surprised at the amount of stuff that got on the checklist, so to speak.
wow.
It's been a long journey, and we were, thankful we were able to battle that and get some way to rectify some of that stuff. The railings is what I want to see on the steps for some of these people, stuff like that. But so far, so good.
Good.
Hopefully, that'll continue.
Okay. Any further questions? Dawn?
Not a question, I just want to let you know, Bill and Sharon and I were at a conference last week, and the first speaker was the governor's wife. And she went around and was speaking to everybody first, and she came over and shook our hands. And of course, we have name tags on that said Cambridge. And we'd mentioned that we had met her at the park, and she commented on how beautiful our park is. She remembered how pretty our park is, and she said that she believes it's, for a small town, she felt that it was the nicest one in the state.
Wow, that's
Nice.
really neat
Yeah.
to know.
I thought you'd like to know
I
that.
saw her that night out there. She's
Mhm.
a good person. She gets out there and gets out and moves around.
Well, that's one thing for her to tell us when she's here, but it's another thing when she tells us a month later at a different event. So I
We-
thought that was cool.
I've heard that comment a good bit, and we appreciate that because we work hard to try and keep it that way. We all do.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, communications.
I have a request from the auditor to make some additional appropriations to cover year-end expenditures.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to refer to Finance Committee?
Mr. McMillan.
Second the motion?
All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
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 Same sign, that motion's granted. Next,
I have the park board minutes from September 14th.
Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we accept and place on file.
Mr. Wolverton.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, that motion's granted. Next,
I have monthly reports from the auditor, the treasurer, and the municipal court.
Mrs. Hill, excuse me,
I make a motion that we accept those and place on file.
Ms. McMillan.
And I'll second that motion.
All in favor of that motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, that motion's granted. Reports of committees.
Report of City Services Committee, October the 16th. We recommend that council authorize Secret Santa to solicit donations.
Any questions to the committee on that report? Please.
Report of Finance Committee, October the 16th. We recommend that council authorize the fire department to apply for Mark's 2024 grant.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, October the 16th. We recommend that the following transfers and appropriations be approved. Transfer $39,000 from fire health insurance to capital vehicles. Transfer $5,000 from fire travel and school to capital vehicles. Transfer $5,000 from fire county auditor tax deductions to capital vehicles. Transfer $35,000 from fire equipment to capital vehicles. Transfer $5,000 from fire workers' comp to capital vehicles. Appropriate $15,000 from the unappropriated general fund to code enforcement demolition. Appropriate $1,146 to park user fee.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Next, please.
Report of Finance Committee, October the 16th, we recommend that council approve the borrowing of funds from the Bed Tax Capital Fund of $31,000 for the purchase of an ambulance. Money will be paid back to the Bed Tax Capital Fund upon receipt of EMS tax levied money in 2024.
Any questions of the committee on that report? Okay, we'll move on. Unfinished business? Anything? Audience portion? Yeah, you just come to the microphone and state your name and address. Of course, there's no address for you, right?
Thank you. I'm Myra Shire, and as you mentioned, my address is not subject to disclosure. Mayor, Council President, and Council, my name is Myra Shire, and as you know, I'm a candidate for the Cambridge Municipal Court Judge position. I'm a proud Cambridge City employee. I've been a proud city employee for over 11 years. I'm a Cambridge High School graduate, and I've now been endorsed by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers 1105, the Senecaville Village Council, the Community Action Program through the United Auto Workers, Plumbers and Pipe Fitters 495, and the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers and Trainmen. If elected judge, I promise that I will be fair and impartial and serve with honesty and integrity. As you know, there are many impacts on our municipal court, specifically with the budget. I come before you today to ask that we incorporate whoever becomes judge-elect into the budgeting process after the November 7th vote. I appreciate that the time that the city and the auditor have taken with me to review the budget as I continue my candidacy for Cambridge Municipal Court Judge. In an effort to be fiscally conservative and responsible to both you and the taxpayers, I think it is important that the new judge work in tandem with council to make the best fiscal decisions possible moving forward. Conservative fiscal management takes a team approach, and if I should prevail, I look forward to working with you in the best interests of our taxpayers. Tonight, I want to thank you and the citizens of Guernsey County for inviting me into their homes and engaging in real conversations about where they see municipal court going forward. Tonight, I would be honored to have your vote. I would be honored to be the next judge of the Cambridge Municipal Court. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions for Myra? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Anybody else? Okay, move on to new business. Is there anything under new business? If not, we'll go to ordinances and resolutions.
An ordinance accepting annexation petition, second reading.
Oh, no.
Okay, so
Second reading, duh.
That'll be placed on for the next meeting of the third
That me
reading.
too?
Next, please.
An ordinance authorizing the administration to apply to the State Fire Marshal's Office for Mark's 2024 grant.
I ain't raising my hand.
Mr.
anymore.
Laughlin,
Motion to suspend.
Ms. Hill,
Second to suspend.
roll call on the suspension, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
And Mr. Leonard,
Motion to pass.
Ms. Wolverton.
Second to pass.
Any question, or excuse me, any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
McMillan.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
That ordinance is declared adopted. Next, please.
An ordinance of transfers and appropriations.
Mr. Vancho
Motion to suspend?
and Ms. McMillan.
I'll second that one.
And appropriately so, I might add.
Yeah, right?
Roll call on the suspension, please.
Leonard.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Mr. Loughlin,
Motion to pass.
Ms. Hill,
Second to pass.
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
And that ordinance is declared adopted. Next, please.
An ordinance approving borrowing of bed tax funds for capital purchase of an ambulance for the fire department.
Mr. Leonard,
Motion to suspend.
Mr. Vancho,
I'll second that motion.
roll call on the suspension, please.
Leonard.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
And Ms. Hill,
Motion to pass.
Mr. McMillan,
Second to pass?
any discussion? Roll call, please.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Loffman.
Yes.
And that ordinance is declared adopted. Next, please.
An ordinance authorizing the Secret Santa program to solicit funds.
Mr. Wolverton,
Motion to suspend.
Mr. Leonard,
Second.
roll call on the suspension, please.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Laufman.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Mr. Vancho,
Motion to pass.
Mr. McMillan.
Second to pass?
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Laufman.
Yes.
Wolverton.
Yes.
Leonard.
Yes.
Evancho.
Yes.
McMillan.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
And that ordinance is declared adopted. Miscellaneous. Mr. Vancho.
Yes, the Finance Committee will not meet next Monday because it's the fifth Monday of the month, so that will move us into November. So we will meet on Monday, November the 6th at 4:30.
Ms. Ms. Kessler.
Yes, I just wanted to take a quick minute to, I've said this before, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm a Bandsy at heart and am very proud alumni of the Cambridge High School Marching Band. And the Cambridge High School Band this year is under, the second year under Zach Kernach, who is the band director at Cambridge City Schools. And he has worked with those kids. A tremendous amount of work goes into what those students do, and they don't often get the recognition that the athletes do. And I'm a Bobcat, and I love all sports, and I love all kids participating, but I just wanted to take a minute to congratulate them. They competed in their final band competition on Saturday, trying to qualify for state, and oh, it just makes me sick, but they missed their superior rating by 1 point. So, but that just shows the improvement that they made from last year to this year, and they're a very proud bunch of kids and a very hardworking group of kids. So my hat goes off to all you marching Bobcats.
They performed at the shoe.
Yes, and they got to perform in the shoe 2 weekends ago, which was an amazing opportunity. I talked to some of the parents, and they said they think the nerves got the best of them because if any of you have been to the shoe, you know it's an immense, it's enormous. It holds 105,000 people. But so it was a little bit on the empty side when you're there for a band competition, so the echoing kind of got to them, but it's still a tremendous opportunity and lots of exposure. So congratulations to our Bobcat band.
Mr. Merrick, you want to come to the mic?
You have to give your name and that, oh, you can't.
You want her there, do you?
Now she did that, I triggered something, and I stand corrected. Nick Hatfield made the regionals in cross-country, and his father works for us at the fire department, and he qualified, and his mother actually happens to be the coach. Having a little inside scoop on how much work goes on out there, congratulations to him, too, and all the kids that work hard.
Thank you. Mr. McMillan.
I just would like to put it out to the public that on Trick or Treat Night, Faith United Methodist Church, my church at the corner of South 7th and Jefferson Avenue, we will be having a trunk or treat also. So we invite the public over, very safe environment over there. We have quite a few cars that participate, so bring your kiddos, your little ghosts and goblins over, and we'll be happy to give them a little goodie. Yeah, sugar them up, send them home. Yeah.
Is there an age limit?
Yes.
Is there an age limit?
Up for you, Billy, no, come on over.
64.
You don't have to wear a costume.
Well, and since she did hers, I'll do mine. Christ Global Methodist Church in East Cambridge is having a trunk or treat. I'm telling you, I've looked at the list. There's going to be enough candy floating around this county for all these kids, but our trunk or treat is Sunday afternoon, the 29th, from 3:30 to 5:30. And it's on North Avenue in East Cambridge. So when you're praying, just pray for God to open the skies, because right now the forecast isn't looking good. So,
With sunshine.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, anybody else? If not, Mr. Leonard,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
we're adjourned.
Tom, that's great about